make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go, buying low, selling high. Riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees.
Alrighty, let's kick this thing off, gentlemen. Happy Wednesday. Good morning from paradise. My name is Crypto Amaru. We got Web3 Nate. Of course, Nick, the Nostradamus hitman, is here as well.
He's
Guys,
a little frozen right now, though.
Sometimes the market's boring. Just deal with it. Just freaking deal with it. You're going to be okay. We're still in a bull run. Nick left, but that doesn't mean Bitcoin's not going to 200K. Do not worry. Everything is going to be good. So we got some charts to cover. We got stories to cover. We got some surf kind of excitement percolating and being planned for the end of this live stream. So you're going to want to stay tuned to the very end. And our boy Nate, he's grown up. He's grown up before our very eyes. His wedding is on Saturday. So congratulations, early congratulations, tying the knot, my friend. I think you're in for a hell of a ride. And let's see, kids
her,
next,
right?
or what?
No. What's that?
Kids coming next, or you holding off on that?
Ooh, no, that's supposed to hopefully right around the corner.
All right. Good luck. Good luck to you. Welcome back, Nick. Hope your connection's good.
Internet dropped out or something. So let me get this link posted everywhere, and then we'll get into the live show.
Yeah. I think we already got a few people turning in. These things are heating up. I remember back when we first started doing this, started doing the live stream, started doing the spaces. We were lucky if we got 30 people in an hour with, throughout the whole hour to tune in. Now we're crushing the numbers. 300, 400, 500, sometimes 1,000 people are tuning in within the hour that we're doing it. Many more thousands are watching it afterwards. So shout out to the Crypto Paradise family out there. You guys have been absolutely killing it, sharing this around, helping us grow this thing, which is helping us work with more projects. We've been able to bring you calls like the Fuck 9 to 5, like Dose, and many other projects that we've been working with. That we've been able to do partnerships with great projects like Emit, Vox, Rhino. All that's because of you guys. And we're able to start the Frontier Fund again because of you guys. So like we said from day one, this is all about working together, helping people learn about this industry, helping you guys grow your bags, grow your knowledge, grow your experience so that we can get away from that 9 to 5 and be kicking it on the beach or whatever it is that crypto paradise for you in your head. So we hope you guys have been enjoying the ride up here. The markets have been doing a lot better. As Amara mentioned at the beginning there, a little boring the last, we had a little downside, a little chop, probably going to continue maybe another week or two throughout August here. But you just got done with a ridiculous month of nothing but all up green candles. Like, take a breather. We can't do that every day. Like, reset, use this chop, use this little downside here to, get ready to fill your bags for the next run up, to get your game plan in order for the next run up. Hopefully you took some profits here and are ready to reinvest. Take a breather away from the charts for a minute because it last hopefully 6 months of this bull run or maybe a little more are going to be intense. You're not going to get many more breathers. So don't be flooding this right now. Take it for what it is. Take it for the blessing that it is. And, get yourself prepared for what comes next.
Let's go.
And we can see here that the Bitcoin bull flag is still intact. Created a higher low yesterday, back into this bull flag here. Now, worst case scenario is still this ABC, which I think would still have major support at 110. I don't think you have massive breakdown if that happens. This would be kind of a quick washout. I would expect this to be a wick, get a bunch of leveraged positions liquidated, and then let's move higher throughout there. So this is still worst case scenario. Ideally, we hold in this bull flag. We hold above this 112 level, and we continue to put in higher lows like we just did yesterday or overnight. and we will see what happens. The NASDAQ, the S&P 500, and the Dow are all slight green. The betting odds for the first interest rate cut in September just jumped up to 94%. This is something that Crypto Amaru has been saying for a while, looking for 3 cuts potentially in 2025, unlikely in July, and looking for the first cut in September. That was your prediction. That looks like that's going to be a reality. So we just got to make it through August here. We'll see what happens. We have Thomas Lee on all of the financial shows now talking about Ethereum going to have a big end of August, along with the S&P 500 going up another 3 to 5% by the end of August. So does this boredom end, and does it resolve to the upside? Well, Thomas Lee certainly hopes so. Again, worst case scenario, ABC down will be back to this support around 3,100. I really don't want to see that. I would like for this to kind of flag out here and we break out to the upside and get above even my target of 42.35 Ethereum. We know when ETH likes to move, that's when we have fun with altcoins. That's when we find yield. That's when we find all the opportunities. So this boredom position right now makes it a little slow for you guys to find the gems. But if you have cash, some of the gems that we've talked about, although they're not as low as our entries, they are on nice 50% pullbacks. If you didn't take profits up there, that's okay. We're looking for much higher on the projects that we talk about, whether it's Surf, PTGC, Dose, Fuck 9 to 5, Ethereum, and so many more.
Although I will say the audience does not like your ABC down charts and lines. I want to see V-shaped recoveries, baby. No downs, no breakdowns, no 110K Bitcoin resistance levels. We're up only here, folks. We are up only. And I'll tell you why. Powell, as much as you hate him, as much as we shit on him, as much as everybody in the media hates this guy, he is going to save our ass in September. He is absolutely going to save our ass and send these markets, because he has no choice. He has absolutely no choice. And I did not know when I, been out here saying September rate cut, I did not know we were going to shit the bed on a jobs report and multiple revisions, major downward revisions on the last 2 months. I didn't know that was going to happen. I just thought rates are too high, labor market's a little shaky, and inflation's been beat. And so, the neutral rate they wanted to get to was always lower than the 4.5% it's at now. So they were going to cut rates, probably a 25 basis point cut, even if things just kind of stayed, where they were at. But that's not what happened. The labor market shit the bed. We are on very shaky ground. I don't want to say the R word. I don't want to say, we're doom and gloom over here. But when you have the biggest revision since like 1968 or whatever, it's been like 50 years since we've had those kind of revisions, the Fed has no choice. The Fed has absolutely no choice but to cut rates. And Powell has as much said it in the press conference. We're keeping the rates high or relatively high or however you wanted to categorize that in order to be able to be nimble and, make a move in the face of changing facts. And the facts drastically changed last Friday. So I don't know why the market maybe is, are we going to a recession or something like that? They shouldn't be thinking that way. They should be thinking, hey, 94% chance of a rate cut. The only question now is it a jumbo cut or a 25 basis point cut? Either way, we're going up from a financial market risk asset standpoint. So I don't know what the hell people were worried about. I don't know why people were selling, panicking. Oh my God, bad job report. No, cheer the bad job. Yay, bad job report. Powell has to cut rates now. Yay, people lost their jobs. That's really what you should be doing if you're in the financial markets and invested in risk assets. All jokes aside. So look, it's all going to be fine. I don't know when in August we start to pump. Is it today? Is it tomorrow? Next week? Is the very end of August? Do we have to wait until the beginning of September? I don't really know. The meeting is in September 16th and 17th. So I don't know when stuff's going to start to run, but everyone calm down. Everyone chill out. Enjoy the boredom. Enjoy this moment in summer. Go outside, touch some grass, whatever you want to call it. It's all going to be fine. And Powell, as much as we hate him, is going to save our ass.
Well, these are the numbers that you were talking about there. I don't know why the image isn't loading here, but I got the text right there. So May originally saying 144K jobs, and then June was 147. Now it's not uncommon to have these revisions. This is a typical tactic that both sides use, whether it's job numbers, CPI data, whatever. They'll post some number, whether bullish or bearish, to move the markets in whatever direction they want or to continue the narrative that they want. And then usually it's like 6-7 months later, they'll go back and they'll, maybe that wasn't quite so high or quite so low, and they'll revise those numbers. But by then, our media moves so fast, nobody ever even hears about it, and they, things continue on as they normally do. What was big and different about this one is that this came, a month later, not 6 months down the road when everyone's thinking about it anymore. And these weren't slight revisions; these were massive revisions. Over 200, almost 260,000 jobs that were supposedly there are not there. Revised down from 144,000 to under 20,000, 19K, and from 147 down to 14K. We're talking, a 10x exaggeration in the actual numbers. That's why they came out after, Powell came out being, a hard ass on the FOMC meeting on July 31st, saying we're not cutting now, and we have no plans to in September. And a week later, we're saying, okay, we're going to do 3 cuts, probably a big one in September, is because this is not only a revision that came much sooner than most revisions do, but these were insanely massive revisions. So this is what has got Powell spooked. This is what has the markets spooked, saying things like the R word. This is out of the ordinary. And what have we always said? Whether, when there's meetings like this, it's not a good number or a bad number that really moves the markets. The markets front run these things. It's when you get things that are unexpected that happen. And when you get things that are unexpected in a drastic way like this, that's where you have the potential for massive volatility up or down. So that's really what's kind of what's the impetus for this. Everybody coming out saying 3 rate cuts. We might get a 50-point or a 75 or an entire 100-point basis point cut in September, which probably is not going to happen. Let's be honest. But this is the root cause of all that.
I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy. I don't think the folks at these government agencies, because there's thousands of them working there. That'd be a massive cover up to be like, all right, fudge these numbers, fake it, make it up, this and that, and then revise later. I think it's just a very imperfect means of collecting data where they're just making a ton of assumptions. Now, are those assumptions biased? Probably they are biased. I don't think there's a great conspiracy guys getting together in the room. All right, fake the number. This is the fake number this month. Okay, now release the other fake number. I don't think that's how they operate. But whatever. The point is this: the numbers are the numbers, and now the numbers say they have to cut the rates. So I don't know, why the market's worried. I don't know why you're selling now. You should be buying now. You should be bullish now, because what happens when they cut rates? Well, investors, can't earn as much on their more like fixed income, their money market investments, call them, and there's trillions sitting in money market accounts. But there's all sorts of investments that are lower risk that when the rate is high, you can actually earn a pretty decent return just sitting in this low risk investment, right? You can make like 4 or 5% on a certificate or deposit. Your money market's making your 4 or 5%. Not exciting for the average crypto degen, of course, but for, your mom, your dad, grandpa, whatever, who's just investing in low risk shit because they, have no imagination and no willingness to take risks, this is what they do. Now, what happens then when they cut the rates is those returns then have to they end up going down, right? So, no longer will you earn 4% on your certificate deposit, on your money market, whatever. It starts to creep down. You're in 3%, 2%, and then all the financial advisors are calling up their clients, say, all right, you got to move into stocks now. You have to move into stocks because you're not making anything on this fixed income thing, on this lower risk thing. You got to invest in the stock market. And of course, now the stock market is comprised of partially of crypto companies, which is an amazing thing in of itself. So I don't know if they're going to go fully, these people aren't going to just be aping into like Bitcoin ETFs necessarily, but when, the big companies, NVIDIA of the world, Microsoft of the world, they start to run the risk assets, the tech companies start to run S&P 500, NASDAQ, so do crypto markets. Risk assets start to look much juicier, much better. So look, we're in such a golden spot right now. I couldn't be more bullish, and like I said, just enjoy these next few weeks of quote unquote boredom. And who knows? Maybe we get even some more volatility and the price goes down for everything. Just enjoy it. But we're going to be good, guys. We are all going to be good, and Powell is going to save our ass.
One more things to help get bullish on, and more reasons for, as that money shifts out of treasuries into risk on assets. One more reason for them to come into the, some would say riskiest, but highest rewarding asset class of crypto is more bullish stuff like this. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, liquid staking activities are not securities. Massive, massive win for crypto. Massive win for DeFi.
Thank you, Trump. Thank you, Paul Atkinson. Fucking Chads. Crypto Chads at the helm. Of course we're going to 200K Bitcoin, guys. Of course. This is who's in charge now. Let's fucking go.
And this ties right back into what we've been talking about with, the Ethereum strategic reserve, all these digital asset treasuries, whether that's Bitcoin or otherwise. Not that they are directly liquid staking, but with Ethereum, you have liquid staking options. Like, you have all these DeFi plays that, as this money's flowing back in, can go into these type of yield bearing opportunities without them having to worry, oh, is the SEC going to come and sue whatever platform we're on and shut them down and screw up our treasury management solution here, or however, our deployment of our funds. Now they don't have to worry about that. That opens up one more sector of crypto to them that they can go now and earn some returns in. And if you know anything about crypto, the returns here are a hell of a lot better than they're going to get anywhere in the traditional market. So, one more tantalizing treat for all these big funds that are looking to move money into risk on assets to allocate maybe just a little more of that portfolio, another point or two of that portfolio into a non-traditional, non-TradFi asset. So huge announcement.
This covers quite a bit. It says liquid staking providers involved in process of minting, issuing, and redeeming staking receipt tokens. So, I mean, this covers a lot of staking contracts, a lot of DeFi yield, a lot of validator yields. This is probably a portion of why Richard Hart beat the SEC with Pulse Chain, PulseX, and the Hex token, because that is a lot of the processes there are liquid staking. So I would expect a full rundown from Richard Hart at some point today if he hasn't already. And this is massive, and this leads into the stablecoin, the liquid staking, the validator rewards, the dividend-paying spot ETF for Ethereum that really continues to drive the market. We've seen what the alts can do and what Ethereum can do with just a 2x on ETH. So what happens when this thing starts going to new all-time highs? It's going to be fun. And like you said, the Chads are there. They're leaning into this, and the cases that prevailed, whether it's Coinbase, XRP, Pulse Chain, Hex, PulseX, kind of all pointed to this becoming a reality. And Ethereum is being institutionally adopted and has liquid staking. So good to see that it's finally there in legal and in regulatory guidelines. Again, we want as much clarity around regulation and legality for cryptos over the next 3 years as possible. Because if worst case scenario happens and the Democrats, anti-crypto, anti-financial freedom people get back in power, we want as much of this in place so that the crypto ecosystem can live on.
Doubt they end up rolling a lot of this stuff back. Once these things are done, it's kind of hard to put the genie back in the bottle. So anyway, we have 3 glorious years ahead of us regardless. But if you're not bullish on crypto, if you're not bullish on Ethereum, if you're not bullish on DeFi, I don't know what to tell you, man. Get your head out of your ass. The President of the United States, the head of the SEC, the most pro-crypto administration we've ever seen. And this is all coming to fruition from a legal standpoint and a regulatory standpoint. And I think that that clarification there, the guidance the SEC just put on liquid staking, I think this is a precursor to the inevitable approval of staking within the Ethereum ETF. That is all but inevitable now, and I believe the deadline is sometime in October. They kick the can down the road. SEC, I used to be a lawyer. We love to kick the can down the road. Now, because why get something done now if you can just adjourn it and get it done in 2 months? So kicking the can down the road, completely normal. You shouldn't read into that whatsoever. But the deadline, the final deadline, is I believe October or November. We can check into that for the staking within the ETF, right? That is massive. If all of a sudden ETF participants buy the ETH, get exposed to the underlying asset, and earn 3 or 4% yield, we just told you that TradFi investors, your mom, pop, your grandpa, they love 3 or 4% annual returns. You know, that gets them hard. So imagine now you get the upside of Ethereum, you get the 3-4% on the staking. Guys, if you're not bullish on this industry, I don't know what to tell you anymore. I don't know what to tell you. Although I will say one thing. If you're not bullish on base, I do get it. I do get it. Just looking at those numbers. What the fuck is
hold
going
on.
on there, Nate?
Well, to
Why
clarify,
is base shit in the bed?
we're
Or am I reading
talking
that
about
wrong?
new opportunities. This chart I have up here right now. This is actually a little over a month ago. We
Oh,
talked about this. We
okay,
had this chart up. Yeah. And at the time, we were talking about how bearish we were on base because for a good reason. Look, I mean, it was getting absolutely slaughtered. This is the net flows on a 7-day period. Obviously, Ethereum blowing up. It was, I think this was early July or late June, something along those lines. ETFs just dumping money, Ethereum strategic reserves dumping money, and base just absolutely hemorrhaging. We were saying base has got to be dead. What's going on in base, right? Nothing happened in there. Well, lo and behold, in the last 2 weeks here, they have come out of the depths and come back from nowhere. I don't know if old Armstrong started deploying capital or what's going on. The base has absolutely been crushing it the last 2 weeks. Who knows? It could be some of the Solana stuff slowing down and shifting in. I think it does have to do. I saw some rumblings in some private groups I'm in that base was going to be doing a big push, hiring KOLs, launching projects, dumping money into the ecosystem. Apparently, they think the market is primed. Again, another see where the smart money's going. But Base just surpassed Solana in daily token launches. Memes are coming alive on Base. We saw what happens to networks when memes come alive there. We saw it with Ethereum in the old days. We saw it with Solana. I mean, really, the only reason Solana has been the big name that it has been the last year and a half, 2 years. 99% of it's memes. So daily Solana losing to base passing Solana on daily token launches, most of those being memes. The new base app lets you trade Farcaster posts like tokens. Ton of stuff going on in the Farcaster ecosystem with SocialFi. It's kind of like think of it as an X with a DEX mixed in and an NFT platform. And I don't know exactly. I haven't played around with it much. But I've seen plenty of posts. But you can create mini D apps within an actual post that you can mint stuff, you can trade stuff. So a lot of action happening on there. Memes, markets, and cultures on Coinbase as well too. They have a massive. We talk about the ecosystem effect of having big projects coming onto your project or onto your network. There's a token, and I mentioned this in one of my videos, one of my biggest misses of the year, a token project called Kita that launched late last year, I think in October, November. It's a DeFi project launched on Base, wasn't getting much traction at the beginning. I got sent it at 2 million market cap and completely ignored it. Well, and I think by May, it was at almost $1 billion market cap already. I don't remember exactly where it's sitting now with this pullback here, but, DeFi project blowing up out of nowhere to $1 billion market cap on Base. This is the kind of stuff that's going on in Base right now, and that's bringing, attention brings more attention. Liquidity brings more liquidity. Users bring more users, and that's what's going on Base. So massive turnaround from a month and a half ago when we were absolutely fudding Base. We saw the inflow numbers going, what's going on here? To now Base becoming a major player in this bull run, and again, a contender for new opportunities. So Alpha right now, go. It's still early days. This has only really been kicking off for the last couple weeks here. If you're looking for a new opportunity for something that's going to be red hot, a new trend, we've seen how powerful trends are in this industry. Go start studying what's going on Base. Go look for the meme coins on Base. Go look for new DeFi projects, AI projects, SocialFi projects that are coming up on Base. Start putting the work in there. That there's going to be massive opportunities in the next month or two on Base Chain. We saw how hard these trends can run. We can also see how short-lived these trends can run. So, this is one of those things. You get this alpha, not something to sit on and wait till it's mainstream news, because by the time it's mainstream news, you either maybe missed the big opportunities or it could be ready to be done and on to the next trend. So you heard it here first. Get out there, start getting in the Base trenches and see what you can find. There's going to be definitely some serious multiples to be found on Base right now.
The audience approves.
You got to find them, Nate. They're watching for you to give them the names.
Well, now we got to find some memes on Base, apparently.
The two big talked about ones are Degen, spelled exactly how it is. I guess it's got a game and an app and stuff, but it's a pretty big meme project there. I think it's at an $80 million market cap right now. And then what was the other one? I can't remember. I will tweet it out after this live stream. I'll go find. I'll tweet it out. So,
Well, Base always had
um,
so much potential because obviously it is Coinbase's chain. They have all the money in the world. The guy who runs the chain, I think his name's Jesse Pollock or something like that. Or maybe that was no, that's
Brian
the founder
Armstrong
of
runs the
Kraken. No,
Coinbase.
I know, but then he has a really
Yeah,
smart
yes,
guy
yes.
who's just dedicated to Base chain, right?
Gotcha.
And it had a massive run and massive amount of success for those few months last summer. And
Yeah.
then for whatever reason, retail just completely shifted back over to Solana, and Base really dropped the ball. I don't know why that
I
happened, but Base has all the potential in the world. I think they just need to they need to they need to put capital behind it. Coinbase does, right?
I,
And then
I
it
think that's
will
what's
be
going on
successful.
now. Yeah, I think when they were starting to try and do memes on base, we saw like Brett was a big one there, and a couple other ones. I think the issue was they were fighting Solana, and Solana was red hot right at that time. And the only way they were gonna compete with Solana and maybe break into that trend is if Coinbase was willing to dump a ton of money into it. And due to the market conditions at the time, probably a smart move by the the base foundation, the people running that, they decided not to. Now it looks like market conditions are in a place where they feel much more comfortable, think that the timing is right. And from what I'm hearing, they are deploying capital now, which is probably the impetus for a lot of what you're seeing right now. Who knows? Kyle Dupes, he very well could be a paid KOL shill for
Probably
base
is.
that we're now,
Probably
so
is, but nothing wrong with that. I'm glad to see Base doing its thing. Perhaps we can talk about a chain that we don't talk about much, but a coin we invested into the pre-sale did just launch over there. BSC network, BNB chain, I guess they call it now. Obviously BNB, third most valuable token in all the crypto ecosystem. I think $780 per BNB right now. The chain itself, I do not know the activity level of the chain. I think it's kind of just stayed chilling in the background. There's still activity there, but it's not like in the media or have a ton of eyeballs on necessarily. But a project we invested in the pre-sale of Tordes just launched over there. I don't know if we have the chart or anything. It's
me.
obviously been selling off as some of the pre-sale people are selling, but we're still in profits as far as I know. I think we got in at 5 cents, maybe it's in at about 10 cents. So I don't know where it's at this moment in time, but congrats to them. They launched, man, a year and a half since we invested in that thing. And I know projects haven't wanted to launch, pre-sale's been dead, but I think it's important. I think you got to eventually just pull that band-aid off, get your token out there, trust your fundamentals, trust your product, trust your token utility, trust your marketing team, trust your strategy. Yes, there will be an initial sell-off. There will be profit taking from the pre-sale investors, and there may not be a ton of buyers at that time. But just pull that band-aid off, get it done with, and let the fundamentals do their thing. And hopefully the market conditions help as well, and it will rise. But I'm glad they launched. Shout out to that team. Dot's a great guy. They have a really good product. They already have traction, users generating thousands of dollars a month in profits for their business. So to me, long term, I'm still very bullish on this. Launch day always a bit stressful, let's call it. Always a few curveballs getting thrown at you, but today we'll eventually be behind them, and they'll allow their fundamentals to take over. So shout out to Tortoise for launching their token.
Yeah, I made a big post on these guys the other day when they announced their TGE. We've been in the early stage advisory game for a while. We invested in a lot of projects over the last 3 years of the bear market. Whether it was coming out of the last bull market or in the depth of the bear market. I think we could probably count on one hand the number of projects that kept grinding, kept working at all costs, no matter what, and are still around. I think, we've got obviously Tortoise just launched. We've got Me3, Quants, and I think that's it. And we were working with probably 20 projects, cumulatively over that time, maybe more. But these guys stuck it out. They continue to grind. They continue to find ways to fund the project. They continue to find ways to build. They've released multiple iterations of their platform. They continue to run their competitions. They continue to get new users, continue to generate revenue, continue to get new partnerships. These guys are backed by OKX. And it's a really cool platform. If you're not familiar with prop trading, it is a long time TradFi industry. These guys are the first movers in DeFi for it. What it essentially allows you to do, you prove your skills as a trader. They have multiple challenges that you can do. There's different levels. So 5K, 10K, 25, 50, and 100K challenges. That's what you will be awarded, that much money to trade on their platform. You keep 80 to 90% of the profits depending on what tier you're at. To qualify, they have a free monthly competition. It's a free trading competition. You're trading with, demo accounts. If you win that competition, you get a free $5,000 to trade with. And you keep, I think, 80 or 85% of any profits that you make. To qualify for the higher tier stuff, we can work your way up. I believe it's to take the test, it's $500 to take a test for the $100,000 trading account. But essentially what the challenge consists of, pass a few basic questionnaire type tests, and then you go and you actually need to trade on a demo account for, I believe it's like 2 consecutive months, and they have little certain KPIs you have to hit. But once you qualify, if you can prove that you're a competent enough trader, bang, you got $100,000 in your account to trade with, like that. And again, that's your other people's money. You have to put that money up, and you're getting, I believe, on the 100K account, you're getting 90% of the profits you get, right? So if you're out there right now grinding it out with a 10K bag, trying to make your monthly nut, whatever it is you need, this is a great opportunity if for you to go and increase your earning potential without increasing your skin in the game and your loss potential. So super cool.
It's a $20 billion industry, or it's estimated to be a $20 billion industry in 2025. So, I mean,
in TradFi,
in TradFi, the traditional prop trading industry. So they're a first mover in crypto. I think a ton of potential. Do they need more users? Do they need more attention? Sure, every company does. Even Coca-Cola needs more customers. That's why they still do commercials. But I think Tortoise can outperform and do well. They just got to keep on their grind, use some of the profits that they're generating to buy back the token, add more utility for the token, stake it on the platform to get discounts or enhanced earning potential, what have you. And I know that's all in the works. But to me, all the potential in the world. And shout out for them to keep grinding. I mean, you said, 20 projects we work with, the only 3 have launched or whatever, 3 have kept going. That's probably about right. I mean, this bear market has really, I think, eliminated a lot of the fakers, let's call a lot of the, tourists, the people who are not really convicted on their project or their product, or frankly, maybe they were convicted, but it just failed because, ultimately couldn't get traction. They ran out of money. But either way, I mean, Tortoise, the fact that they pushed through, survived the bear market, built a product people wanted to use, onboarded users, generating profits, finally launched the token today. Shout out to those guys. I think all the potential in the world.
Yeah, we got a comment over here on Twitter from Martin Max King Crypto. Please let us know what we need for base, wallets, exchanges, etc. So we are prepared. So next live show Nate gets on, maybe tomorrow, we can dive in deeper to base, the 101 bases, to how to get onto that network. And we also have in the live stream here Hex saying, we still looking at ABC correction and crypto charts. Yeah, we showed those a little bit earlier, though that is the worst case scenario, and that would lead to Bitcoin around $110,000, Ethereum around $3,100, and of course other assets such as Coinbase and the traditional markets would follow that drop as well. We are hoping that we don't get there. Bitcoin did put in a higher low yesterday overnight, so hopefully we can build a floor here. Stocks are slightly green, and we are knowing that the market is going to start pricing in the potential rate cut as the days pass on. We also have Thomas Lee being very bullish on Ethereum and the S&P 500 leading to the end of August. So we'll be following
I'm not
along
looking at
to the
ABC
end.
corrections, to be clear. I am looking at V-shaped recoveries and running to 130K over the next 30 days. That's what I'm looking at. So if you want to be bullish, watch. If you want to be a little bit, cautious, also watch. But we got a variety of views up on the stage here. And look, if you're long-term enough, I'm not sure it really matters. ABC down, V-shaped recoveries. I don't think, because we're going up. End of the year, Bitcoin is going to be a higher price than it is today.
And
Period.
then, the Ethereum dominance chart, Ethereum Bitcoin chart, obviously the target is about 20% higher, but what you don't want to see is weakness continue to come in because people are going to trade this as a head and shoulders, which means that Ethereum Bitcoin chart goes down in between these moving averages quite a bit, and Bitcoin dominance picks up quite a bit, which means, yep, alt season gets delayed. So we don't want to see that. Let's get some buyers coming in here and lead this to a breakout. And some of these other networks are looking like that is possible. You look at Pulse Chain here. We've been following along. And during this sideways dip, Pulse Chain looks like it is flagging out here. So you want to see this flag resolve to the upside. And there's a lot of other networks who are kind of doing the same, such as BNB's chart looking very similar as well. You see this big run up, the big correction, ABC down, and now it's trying to hold itself. Hopefully it flags out and makes its move towards $1,000. And Solana, its move towards 300. So that's what we want to see. We want to see the Bitcoin dominance continue to fall off. We want to see Ethereum dominance picking up and alt season upon us. This is the bullish move for altcoins. This is a bearish chart pattern for Bitcoin, meaning it will come up and then roll over. This is on the Bitcoin dominance, which means if that is happening, Ethereum, Solana, BNB, Pulse Chain is outperforming, and that's what all of our degenerates want to see.
Well, speaking of Pulse Chain, we have some surf news to report to everybody. First and foremost, the website is nearly finished. The new website, we're doing a full sort of refurbishing. I don't want to call it a rebrand, but it's almost a full-on facelift of the site. Looks fantastic. We showed our down members a little sneak peek of that. But accompanying that is the dashboard. You'll be able to connect your wallet. It's a D app, right? Connect your wallet to it, and it's going to demonstrate and show you all the numbers relevant to the surf token, whether that is the amount of tokens that have been burned, whether that's the amount of tokens you have earned as part of reflections, liquidity that has been increasing over time based on the auto LP ads and the LP ads of the DAO. So a lot of beneficial information for investors, which I think is very, very important for speculation and for transparency. But there will also be the burn button integrated right onto that D app. So we will be able to burn surf anytime we want, and look forward to some announcements around that. Look forward to us taking the yield we're earning from DeFi projects we're integrated with, Emit, Vox. There's others which I don't think we've announced yet. But then also our revenue from our marketing business too, right? So burns are definitely a core part of the surf token, and now with the burn button, we'll be able to do it literally with the click of a button. So very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, and here's the chart here. You see that falling wedge pattern here, and we broke out. We're sitting right on this trend line, and we do know that the DAO voted to add some more liquidity, so I don't know if you want to do a surf buyback. It looks like we have about $5,000 from the DAO. Half of that will be used for a surf buyback. The other half will be used to get PHEX, Ink, and PDAI to fatten up the liquidity pools for traders. Also allow arbitragers and AMM bots more liquidity to trade into those, because we know the more volume that is driven per liquidity pool, this is just the Pulse Chain pool, the more transaction fees build up, and that supercharges burns, that supercharges buybacks and reflection rewards. We've already seen that 2.27% of the total supply has already been burnt in 3 months, and we're about to supercharge that once the dashboard goes live. So we are making a beautiful chart here, hopefully make this rounded bottom with the Pulse Chain Ethereum explosion and head to new all-time highs before you can blink.
Alrighty, let's initiate buyback. I like fat fingering stuff because it's just more fun. So let's go ahead and fat finger this and see what happens. I cranked up the gas, so hopefully this goes through in relatively short order here. Looks like the transaction did happen. So nice little $2,500 buy of Surf. And yeah, that's going to be used to add more liquidity.
There we go. We see 122,000 of it got routed through the PLS pool, and then that's the beauty of other pools. That means another $700 was spread out amongst other pools. Probably a lot of PLSX. That's our second largest pool. Maybe the X pool. That's our third largest pool. And again, we're going to add to the Ink, we're going to add to the PLSX, and we're going to add to the PDAI, which means that we're also buying $2,500 total worth of those assets. So if you own those assets, those core assets, slowly but surely, that's what we're doing. And a lot of other projects on Pulse Chain are doing the same and locking it into liquidity, which is very bullish for the network overall.
Love it. Fun, fun, fun. So we do these buybacks every few weeks, right? It obviously depends on how much volume there's been and how much money the DAO itself has accumulated in PLS. But usually about every 2 weeks, we're doing these buybacks, adding more liquidity. And it's just part of the ongoing utility and long-term vision of Surf. I mean, if we want this token to hit 100 million market cap, which we obviously do, you need to have thick liquidity, right? You absolutely need it. And that allows whales to come in. That allows early investors to exit. It's absolutely key. So looking forward to adding this liquidity. We'll get that announced and done ASAP. But shout out to you DAO members who helped make this happen.
Absolutely. Well, gents, I think I've got to make an early exit tonight. But again, big shout out to the more than 250? What are we at? 221 people that have tuned in so far. It's been a fun stream. Talked about a lot of different projects. Dropped some base alpha. Hope it was beneficial to you guys. I'm gonna turn it back over to you, and I'll see you guys in about probably 10 days from now. I'll be back. So,
Sheesh.
take it easy, Jensen. Well, thanks for tuning in, Crypto Paradise fam.
Thanks, bud. Have a good night. I don't know other stories we're looking to cover.
Wednesday season 2 is releasing tonight. For those who like Wednesday on Netflix, check that out.
I have not watched that show.
Oh, that's a great show. You should definitely watch it.
I did just watch a show on Apple TV called Stick, which
That's
I thought
good
was
too.
great.
And it's
You're
really
into
good timing,
golf,
yeah,
so-
because golf is upcoming. You know, it's kind of a comedy golf show. It's kind of like a prequel to Happy Gilmore almost. You know, finding that young youth talent in the comedy. So I loved it. Good timing for them to be out too, because I know as people watch Happy Gilmore for the first time or Happy Gilmore 2, they're looking for more golf comedies, and Stick over on Apple. I've only
I
watched a
thought
couple
Stick was much
episodes,
better than
but-
Happy Gilmore 2. I did not really like Happy Gilmore 2. Like, I wanted to laugh. I wanted to like it because obviously, you know, everybody loved Happy Gilmore. I mean, it's part of my childhood, this and that. But I just thought it was.
Yeah, it's just more slapstick comedy, more nostalgia than anything. It's not
Yeah, it
really going to
wasn't
get your
very
gut
good.
laughing. It's more about the cameos and seeing all those people as well. But yeah, solid stuff going on. We'll see. Stay tuned for Ethereum. We're waiting and seeing. Ethereum kind of directs the market. We've been talking about that. We were earlier on saying that the Ethereum strategic reserve narrative would direct the market, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So, you know, Sharply Gaming, if you're watching, Bitmine, if you're watching, let's get to that million Ethereum sooner rather than later, and continue to get some bullish momentum on the ETH chart.
You know what always made me a little curious, or you know, I always wondered about this. It seems like a lot of these strategic reserve companies are not very good at trading. Like, they don't like to buy the dips. They like to buy when it's running. Have you ever noticed that on strategy?
Well,
You ever
yeah, I
seen
think-
strategies buys? They're always buying the tops.
Yeah, the
and then
reason
it
that
dips, and
is-
they're like, "Oh, I'm not buying this week." Like, why aren't you buying the dips?
The reason
bro?
it is they need to raise capital. You know, so when is it easy to raise capital? When those institutional players have FOMO. That's when they're
true.
able to do extra capital
Good
rounds.
point.
MicroStrategy stock goes up, Bitcoin's going up. Oh, they FOMO. Give us a round. Raise 100 million, please. We want to give you 50 million. You know, that's when it happens. And then as soon as they get that capital, they're not there to try to find good entries. They're there to put the capital to work for that investment. So
I guess if you think Bitcoin's going to $1 million, like what I believe in the next 10 years, like what Michael Saylor certainly believes within the next 10 years, then, you know, whether you bought it 115 or 113 doesn't really make a whole heck of a difference. But I do think you're gonna see the likes of Bitmine, the likes of Sharplink Gaming, Ether Machine. There's many others. They're going to continue to accumulate. So I'm not too worried about that. We'll have to see how the ETFs hold up. You know, I have noticed a tendency for certain ETF buyers, definitely not all, but certain ETF buyers to kind of act like Jeets. You know, you get a little downtrend, you get a little chop, a little bit of boredom in the market, and you start to see the outflows. And I'm like, I thought you guys were supposed to be long-term, like, you know, sophisticated, conservative types that buy an asset and hold on to it for more than a week. But I guess some of these ETF guys are GD as the folks on Solana, sadly enough. So we'll see how the ETF side holds up. I think it's going to be fine. The inflows have still outpaced the outflows by orders of magnitude on the Ethereum side, particularly over the past month. So it's really not a big concern, but it always leaves me scratching my head a little bit. Like, I thought you guys were, trying to invest for multiple years, not like a week.
yeah, it is interesting. Obviously, when people are like, "Oh, BlackRock owns all this," or "Fidelity owns that," that's not really the case. I mean, BlackRock has their own basket, a portion of it, because they're selling, you know, investment products off that portion, but a lot of their investors are just individual clients. So most individual clients in the ETF market do have long-term horizons. So that is interesting to see when there is outflows like that, but they're humans like anybody else. A lot of them are trust fund kids. The money is slowly rolling from the older generation to people our age, and then again, it'll be people to even younger. So they have the TikTok brain mentality, and they're not as long term. So hopefully they kind of keep their money in the trust funds. The financial advisors keep doing their job to keep them long term and rotating those assets into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and whatever the next ETF is, whether it's Solana or an index or whatever. So we'll see what happens. The only reason I say that is, Todd Butterfield has Black Bay Group, and some of their accounts that they manage got passed down from their parents down to the kids as their parents pass away, and they're our age or a little bit older, and they're drawing capital monthly, every 2 months, whatever, rather than compounding. So they're very short-minded. They don't understand the power of compounding interest. They don't have the long-term mindset. But also, when you're a trust fund kid, not all of them, but maybe you're not doing so well yourself, and you're kind of have that silver spoon, and you're used to that inheritance and that payout on a monthly basis. But yeah, a lot of those accounts draw down on monthly bases rather than compounding those assets. So
that's not smart.
We'll see what goes.
If you need the money now, okay, sure, but I mean, you'd be amazed what you can do, even in America where things are very expensive. You can get by on a relatively low salary. I mean, I've been trying to not touch my investments. Had to touch a few of them over the past few months here, sadly enough. But just living on, smaller income and just, not banking it, not saving a lot. But at least I'm not touching my investments because, the only reason why I have any money is because of investments, and the only reason my investments did well is because I held them for multiple years. It didn't happen overnight. I didn't make money in the markets by flipping and I'm going to buy here and sell for 5% later. I only made money because I bought and held for multiple years. So just taking that experience and kind of extrapolating forward, like, all right, so my bag is this big now, but if it grows 10%, super conservative, 50, let's say if it's Bitcoin, it's 50% every year, in 10 years, it's going to be this big. So I'm going to hold on. Like, use ChatGPT. If you're ever curious, like, all right, if I invest, 10 grand into this opportunity and the returns are 10% a year, what am I going to have in 10 years? ChatGPT will split that out for you in a second. Obviously, those aren't impressive numbers, but it's just an illustration to say, the information at your fingertips, the information about compounding is at your fingertips. If you need the money now, sure, I get it. But try to live frugally, like save some money. Like don't tap into your investments. You don't maybe need that new car, the new watch, go to the fancy dinner. Like I'm not saying live on a ramen diet, but do what I do. Go to Costco. Shout out to Costco, by the way.
I'll say
What
shout
a
out to
great
Sam's
spot.
Club. Sam's Club versus Costco. That'll be our next video.
I'm Costco all day.
Who's got
baby.
the better
Guess what?
hot dogs and cookies?
But yeah, anyway, don't sell your bags. Hold on. Everything's going higher. Powell's going to save our butts in the next month. And if you sell now, you'll be kicking yourself in a month from now or 2 months or certainly 6 months. I mean, the end of the year. Does anyone really think, anyone watching the show, and I want to hear from you guys, does anyone think that Bitcoin is going to be lower in 6 months from now? I'm genuinely curious. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who think the bull market is going to be over and we'll be in a multi-year bear market again, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe it. I absolutely don't believe it. Not with everything that's happening with the Trump administration. Not that anything's happening with the M2 money supply. Not that's happening with the Fed. Not everything that's happening with, I don't know. Oh, you could go down the list. The regulation side, the SEC side, all these institutions buying in, the Bitmines of the world, the Sharplink Gaming of the world. Who's slowing this train down? That asshole with 9 billion Bitcoin, already 9 billion worth of Bitcoin from 2013 or whatever, he already sold. So, I mean, who's slowing the train down? There's more people that want to buy it right now than want to sell it. So it's a pretty simple equation. Supply, demand, all that good stuff. So, to me, to sell now, right before a rate cut, before the end of the year, in the year that follows the halving, I don't know, man. I don't. If you don't need the money now, keep it in the markets. You'll be happy that you did in 3 or 6 months from now.
Yep, that's what I would say as well. Try to hold on to your high conviction plays. Try to compound those. Obviously, if you got to pay bills, you got to take some out here and there. But it becomes a lot easier to want to take some froth off the table in 3 months, 6 months at much higher levels, especially on altcoins. Like we've seen, for example, how quickly things can run. Pulse Chain went up 35%, and you see Surf go up 85%. You see PTGC go up like 200%. So, I mean, these things can run very well based on the token economics they have, based on the undervaluation of the networks that they're on. And your altcoins that are on Ethereum are going to run when Ethereum runs. When BNB goes to $1,000, what do you think Floki and your altcoins on BSC are going to do? So it's kind of the same thing. It's liquidity bonding, it's investment appetite, and it's new retailers coming into the market. And you just got to have convictions in their plays, and the projects that have good utilities, good token economics will do okay. It just takes time for those utilities to come into play. And then the top meme coins remain the top as long as they're still active. They keep the memes going because when new retail comes in, they got the advantage of being on all the centralized exchanges, being on the dexes, having thick liquidity, and it's easier for people to onboard into those assets. And they have the bigger communities who, even though they're in a lot cheaper, are going to be telling their friend, hey, get in here and buy Floki. Yeah, I'm up big, but it's going to go another 10x. You know, that's how the parabolic moves happen, and that's what's coming. You just got to believe in it. We got a glimpse of it when ETH doubled, but now we need ETH to get on another run here and fuel everything that we're talking about. And the exciting times come, and the live shows become more entertaining because you are going to need to take action immediately. You can't watch the live show on replay because if we're giving entries on the live show, the things are going to run 10, 20, 30% over the course of the next week.
You also don't want to miss the live show live because when else would you hear us talk about Costco versus Sam's Club? I mean, this is the important stuff, guys. This is why you watch. This is what you came for. Or are you not entertained? I'm just kidding around, but yeah, look, it's gonna be fireworks. We saw it when ETH, had that little, not even a little run, that big run a month ago, and everything was flying, and everyone was, euphoric mode. And ETH's taking a breather, Bitcoin's taking a breather, altcoins are down, and boredom and frustration are back. So you just have to get out of the moment a little bit, right, and think ahead or put yourself back in the shoes of, okay, just a month ago, shit was running. So is it reasonable to believe that in some period of time, I don't know if it's a week, a month, 3 months, that altcoins will be running again? The answer in my mind is yes, things will be running again. And you'll be kicking yourself if you had sold your high conviction plays, your really strong projects, your strong altcoins, great communities, great narratives, great utility, whatever the case may be. You'll be pissed you sold them at pennies, and then you turn around and in 3 months later, oh shit, I could have sold it for 300%, 500%, 10x higher than it is now. So, just take it from guys who've been there, done that. We've sold the lows, panic sold dips, FOMO'd into the tops, round trip bags, gotten hacked, gotten scammed, gotten fucked over a bajillion times. So take it from the folks who have been in the trenches. We're trying to impart some knowledge for you guys, trying to better your lives. These markets can better your life, but you got to make more right decisions than wrong ones. And right now, the right decision in my mind is hodl and be patient.
I think we kind of covered everything, and hopefully you guys continue to stay tuned. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button before Crypto Amaru gets us on the send-off. We got some other content to get out today, some other meetings to get out today, and we will be live again tomorrow, hopefully with some good news. Look, I mean, I might need to do a short-form video on Pulse Chain TA. This thing looks like it wants to flag out, showing a little bit of green right now, and we're watching diligently the Bitcoin dominance chart, the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, as that is going to fuel our opportunity of gains. Also, if you sold Coinbase at 396 with us, we bought some back at 320, 25%. It's now down to 294. I'm probably going to be looking to buy another 25% back. This is how you trade assets. You make gains, and then you roll back in those profits on the dip. Coinbase is very oversold and very undervalued down into these levels. So keep an eye on that chart as well if you're looking to buy back those positions.
Coinbase is going to be fine. Bitcoin, Ethereum, it's all going to be fine. Everything is going to be higher at some point in the future. So hang on, be patient, be convicted, and until next time, guys, we will see you on the beach.